Hello, I'm Kieran at KWSA English and welcome to our latest video on English vocabulary, pronunciation and definitions. This week we look at 6 words and phrases used on social media. We look at pronunciation, definitions and examples. So let's get started with number 1. Hello and welcome to this week's podcast. So, as always, we'll look through the 6 most popular social media words and phrases. So let's get started with this week's. And the first phrase we have for you this week is putting the world to rights. So what could this mean, this phrase? Well, let's have a look in the definition. This is when people chat and discuss how they would solve all of the world's issues. They use their views to make suggestions. Wow, that's a very interesting way to discuss how to improve the world. So let's learn more by looking at an example. The girls met in the cafe for a chat and began to put the world to rights. They felt that poor people should be supported. We now move on to the second word in this week's lesson, and this one is cheeseboard. Now that's a strange word, so let's learn more about it. Let's look at the definition to get a better understanding. This is a group of cheeses served on a board as part of a main meal. This may be before or after the main course of the meal. So that's interesting that people can eat cheese before or after their main meal. So let's learn even more by looking at an example. The family bought a selection of different cheeses from the supermarket. They cut them all up and served them on a board. The next word in this week's lesson is a very beautiful and happy one. And this word is radiant. Now, what could radiant mean? Do you have any guesses? Well, let's look in the definition to find out what it means. This is when someone shows an expression displaying happiness and good health. This is most often used to describe women. So that's an insightful definition and we learned a lot from it. So now let's have a look at an example to help us further understand radiant. The woman displayed a beautiful radiant smile on the beach. She was so happy to be enjoying her summer holiday on the beach. We now move on to the next word, and this next word is a very thoughtful one. So let's have a look and see what it is. This one is ponder. Now, what could ponder mean, I wonder? Well, let's delve into the definition to learn all about it. So, this is to think about a decision in great depth before coming to a final decision. These are often important decisions to make. So there's the definition, And now let's have a look at an example to understand it even further. The woman had an important decision to ponder. She had been offered 2 different jobs. She had to choose only one job. We now move on to the penultimate word of this week's lesson. And this is a very active and musical word. So let's have a look at what this word could be. So this word is Zumba. So what is Zumba, I wonder? Well, let's look at the definition to find out a little more about it. So this is a dance exercise where people do Latin American dancing to music. It is a fast dance style, great for improving fitness. Wow, so that's very interesting that you can do dancing as well as getting fit. So let's have a look at the example to learn more. The group did weekly Zumba dance sessions to improve their fitness. After 6 months, they became great dancers and super fit. We now move on to the final word in this week's lesson, and this is a very excitable word. So let's take a look. This one is giddy. Now, what does giddy mean? Well, let's have a look in the definition to learn more. So this is when something or someone becomes very excited, so much so that they lose control of themselves. They show great happiness when they are giddy. So that explains what giddy means. Now let's have a look at an example to understand it a little more. The little puppy became giddy when he saw his owners come back home. He ran to them, wagged his tail, and rolled around. Thank you for taking part in this week's lesson. We really appreciate your company. We will be back with more lessons each week to provide you with the most important English words and phrases. Why not check out our website and find out how you can further improve your English with our online self-study courses. We have a free 2-week trial so you can learn exactly how to use our course by the time the trial ends. Feel free to check out our social media feeds to keep up with the latest news. Anyway, thanks for joining us again, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye!